thing.
Yeah.
But, so this is something that we do that's our policy, not some kind of requirement from this state or somebody.
That is correct. And it's kind of an industry standard out there.
Sure,
So it is our policy.
great, thanks.
So there's pretty much customer complaints happen every month.
Yeah, I think it's fairly common to get one customer that has something that's they're not satisfied about.
Right.
And so, we work hard to address those issues, and most times we can within the office, and when we can't, then the next step for them is to come to the board.
Seems we haven't had any major breaks.
No major breaks, no. Yeah, it's just kind of small leaks and
Yeah.
repairs and that kind of thing. So,
And is this, I don't remember like looking at this number specifically before. Is this a pretty common number for late charges?
it is. It seems to fluctuate
far.
around 100.
Wow.
This is actually a little higher
Okay.
than in the last 3 months, I believe. Yeah, so that is, I think that's a significant number. Okay, so I would like to make a correction for last month. When I gave you the budget, I gave you the budget in yellow. It was for September. And I was supposed to have given you the budget for August. And so I've included both.
Ah,
And in August, we exceeded the budget by $44.74, the $5,000 operating budget. In September, we subtracted that, and we came in $247.24 below our target. of
Really
5,000.
appreciate you, month to month, keeping that all
Yeah.
balanced. I know that's kind of a challenge sometimes, that's good.
Excellent. So you have these, I apologize for that. I think the end of the month meeting threw us off a little bit. And so that's how that occurred.
so yellow is
Yellow September,
September
and that's the one you would normally
Yeah,
get today.
today. And
And then you should have received the August one at the September meeting.
bye guys, thanks.
Bye.
I love that you have a monthly budget, and I'm just curious if it's like how much extra work it is to do this kind of report, since we have really thorough financial reports that this flows into.
Well, as AJ had said, that this is a tool for us here in our office. And so I think there's a little bit extra work, but it helps us maintain the budget. And so I think it's a pretty critical tool that we continue to.
I agree, I mean, it's kind of,
Yeah.
it's really a cash flow
Interested
tool.
in-
I mean,
Yeah.
now we get that, on a larger scale, we get a cash flow report from Lindsay.
Right.
This breaks it down on a flow, month by month for a specific operation. So I
Well,
think it's
and
very
it has
important.
them, and it gives them
Some ownership.
some ownership
Yeah.
here, yeah, thank you for that word.
Yeah.
I was looking for it, it was right there.
Good,
Um,
glad it was the right one.
Okay,
Okay, so I'd like to move on.
I'm gonna hand these minutes out for signature while we're.
Let's see, we attended a meeting, training by CDPHE back in April, I believe. And at that training, we were introduced to an organization that's called Cohorn. It's an organization that its members are utility members throughout the state of Colorado. And what the purpose of the organization is that if a utility has an emergency, they can put out on the communications email list that they need certain parts, people, machinery to address their emergency. And you don't have to respond, but you have a choice to respond. So I think that it would be appropriate and for us to join this organization. And so I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that.
Is there something we need to be looking about at? I don't
Well, I
want to
have
make
a
it line.
contract here,
Okay.
and so I just, we haven't made copies for anybody, but and Jennifer's already reviewed it and authorized it from her, is that correct, Jennifer?
Yes.
And so AJ and Jennifer are good with it. I think the component that I want to be certain about is that in the event that we chose to respond, we are talking about mobilizing manpower and materials and tools potentially. And so there is a potential effect on our operation. And you know, someone in the valley that could use our help, that would be a fairly reasonable kind of opportunity for us to participate in. Outside of the valley, I think would pretty much stretch our limitations.
But again, it's not an obligation.
It's not an obligation.
Yeah.
How
It's just a cooperative agreement where if you've got a big problem,
Makes
you can
sense.
call somebody and say, can you help us? And they can call.
And they can reciprocate.
And it's all laid out in here how you are compensated for your machinery and your manpower and your per diem and that type of stuff, so.
So how would we make the decision to go outside and help?
Well, I think at this point, I would make a recommendation, convey
Well-
that to AJ,
Yeah.
and then go from there.
These situations are like, could be time-sensitive emergencies.
Sure.
You know, and so if somebody's got an emergency and Steven thinks it's prudent, I think it's fine for him to
Yeah, I agree.
unilaterally make that decision that, you know, that the
Depending on
district should.
staffing and what's happening here and so forth.
Uh-huh.
Good to be
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
is there a fee for membership?
No, no, it's free. It's all volunteer, and it's an opportunity for utilities in the state to support each other. Denver Water is a part of
makes
it,
sense.
and there's some pretty big players in it, and some small ones.
Okay.
But I think it's time, and it would be my recommendation that we go ahead and
Have you talked with the staff?
well, the staff attended the
Yes.
training, and so they were introduced, and I don't think there are
Yeah.
any resistance to being a member.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, great.
Is that a motion?
That's what I was just
I make a motion if it's required.
Is
that
it?
we-
Do we need one?
We didn't have it on here, but it's fine
I was gonna say,
to do it.
the board, does the board even need to
No, it's a good.
sign it or approve it?
The board don't need to sign it. We didn't put it on the agenda because I think this is more of kind of an administrative type of thing that we're good
Oh,
with. But
okay.
since we've talked about it already, I think to close the loop, we should go ahead and just do a motion so it's not kind of an open-ended thing in the minutes.
Okay, you want to do it?
So,
Yes,
We
I
should
make
probably
a
still have a
motion.
copy of it.
Absolutely. We
Regardless
can
if
print off
we're-
copies for you.
we're
Yes.
signing something.
Can I just go back a bit? I was out of the room when you were talking about delinquent accounts. And you,
No, it was actually late fees,
late fees.
and it was just.
Can we finish this one before we go?
we got a
forward?
motion on the table.
We do. Parvin, did you make the motion?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I,
All in favor?
sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, it was on.
And I would also suggest that we incorporate, however this fits with our co-op plan, that,
Absolutely. It is part of
Is it
the,
just Steven, or do you want all this to
Oh, it
sign
looks like
it?
30
I think that's very cool.
That's okay.
I think also, yeah, I like that.
great. And would you like a copy of this?
Sure.
Okay. All right, I'd like to move on to the health insurance. And that should be in your packet.
Is that this?
Yes.
And this?
Yes. Is this okay with you, AJ?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we require, do you want the,
Yeah, no, we're fine. Go ahead. I mean,
Okay.
if this is,
all right, so we have the top document gives you a breakdown on the HRA plan. And what that plan is it's an opportunity for the district to save money on the health insurance. Because we have a mostly healthy group of people who are not going to the doctor, the plan is reduced significantly, and you'll see those reductions as you look down the sheet. And so how it works is that if a employee needs to see a doctor, they have to come up with their deductible. And when they've reached their deductible, and there's, the criteria is down here at the bottom for you to review, then the district matches their deductible up to a certain amount.
How does this compare with last year?
Overall, it's a 7.5% reduction. Prior to our new employee Nicholas coming on to the plan in January.
One of the things I asked Stephen to do is to find ways to, see if we could trim our budget in, specific areas. So he went out and looked at the health insurance, and he worked with them to come up with this.
Awesome. Is this more, does this fit more into the budget?
It kind of is a little more of a
workshop
budget
piece?
workshop discussion, but it's also, it's fun.
Which is good, Steve's on it.
So, what was it before that the employee would pay the first 1,000 is now?
Now the employee pays $2,500, and we had, last year it was $1,500.
I'm sorry, say that again? Now?
Now, well, based on the plan, if you go to the recommended plan on the second page, alternate 3, the employee is responsible for $2,500. The district is responsible for $1,500, and then with the HRA plan, we've made the district responsible for $2,000. So, out of pocket, the employee would pay $2,000, and the district would pay $2,000, up to $4,000 per employee.
That's what it is before this change.
No, what it was before this change was $1,500 last year, I believe.
The current
No,
plan is
the-
the one on the left.
2010 through 2012, the employee exposure was $1,750, and the employer exposure was $1,250. That was up through this month. And now it's $2,000 per employee, and for the district as well, per employee, $2,000.
When you say now it is, do you mean under the current plan?
No, once this plan has been approved, then the new plan will be $2,000 exposure for the employee and $2,000 exposure per employee for the district. So we've increased our deductible significantly. The reason that I think that works is because we have a very healthy staff.
Yeah.
We are also trying to control our overall costs. And so when we bring on our new employee, our total cost for the insurance coverage for the year will be $35,838.36 per year. And that's right here.
So
For the next year, that's what it would be for a year. It could go up the next year, or is there some guarantee that it would be that amount?
No, it's just for this year.
Yeah.
Starting at the end of October through 2013, October 30th or 31st.
So the fluctuation in amounts for the individual employees depend on whether a spouse is included, is that correct? Like
We do
Mark?
not have any spouses that are included in this plan.
Why is Mark so high?
Age.
Gotcha. Thank you.
As unfair as it might
It's
seem.
not fair. Thank you.
Uh,
Okay. I guess I want to ask if this is going to be a hardship for the staff, but as you point out, they are healthy, but just bring it up.
You make it aware to them, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, the first step was to present it to you.
Okay.
And I apologize, AJ, if that wasn't streamlined there appropriately.
Well, we can discuss it in greater detail in the budget workshop.
Shall we do
I think
that?
it probably would make sense to look at it in context of the overall budget.
Hey, good morning.
So what I'm hearing though, to just understand the steps, something change, our year, if you will, in terms of this is November through October. Is a decision required?
Okay, every year, you have
Okay.
to re-up your health insurance.
Right.
Do we have to do that then during the meeting and not, and we can't do it during the
I don't
budget
know,
workshop?
how much
can we?
time do we have? I think we can do.
It needs to happen this meeting, I believe.